Hey, let's talk about stroke. Can we? Let's talk about vacancy. Let's talk about all the things behind the scenes. So can we talk about it? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Hi, I'm Stella Winston, and this is Let's Talk About Soaps. In a previous episode of Let's Talk About Soaps, we visited Caitlin Van Zandt, who played Ashley Wolfe from The Guiding Light. And it was a wonderful interview. And in this episode of The Guiding Light, we're staying with The Guiding Light. Let's talk about soaps. We've been with The Guiding Light just about this whole season. And guess what? We're still with The Guiding Light. That's right, The Guiding Light, because we have Ashley Wolfe's mother, Doris Wolfe.
You know, all the things I've heard about you, Doris.
The most hated woman in Springfield.
And she's tough and she's mean.
A handsome woman and incredibly charming.
Fair-minded and as beautiful as you are.
An all-powerful mother. A driven, type A mom.
I don't go to jail. I put people in jail.
Well, nobody hurts my daughter and gets away with it. I protect her. She needs my protection, and I will not let anything bad happen to Ashley.
Enough to hurt. Inside. Where it counts.
Just get the job done. And if it fails, we'll have to do it my way.
Olrgah Cassidy. Olrgah Cassidy played Doris Wolfe, Ashley Wolfe's mother, and she was the villain.
A very nice lady.
Yeah. And she's welcoming us into her beautiful, beautiful home. And I'd like to thank you for welcoming Let's Talk About Soaps into your home, Olrgah. And Olrgah is the Golden Princess? That's what it means?
Gaelic. It's Irish.
Irish?
It's Gaelic for the golden one, or Princess of Gold.
Oh.
Because Or means gold.
Oh, okay. See a little tidbit for you soap fans about the soap star. So let's get down to it. You would know. My mother loves you. She says you are so beautiful, and you are an excellent actress. You are so good. So you were one of those characters that the fans love to hate, obviously.
Absolutely.
So
that's why I jumped in and said that Doris was a nice lady.
Yeah. So let's just go straight into The Guiding Light, because I know you have a varied career. You also did a lot of Broadway shows, a lot of plays and whatnot. So, but let's stick with The Guiding Light, because this is Let's Talk About Soap. How did you get? Let's start with how did you get the role?
That's actually a good story. I had, the year before this happened, I had been on Broadway in this play opposite Frank Langella, and they had fired the understudy and they'd put me in. It was a big, big deal. And the person who cast Guiding Light had been a friend of my agent's and went to see it. And I didn't know any of this. After the show closed, I get pregnant. I have the baby, so it's a year later, and I'm at home with the baby thinking, it's over. I'm done. I'll never work again. I'll never work again. This is what I thought. I will never work again. And the phone rang, and they said, Guiding Light called, and they want to know if you want to play a lawyer. They want to know how you feel about playing a lawyer on Guiding Light for a couple weeks. And I said, they want to know how I feel? They want to know if I'm fat from having the baby. That's what they want to know. I know, that's what they're saying. I said, I feel fine about playing a lawyer on Guiding Light. That sounds great. And it was just a 6-week gig.
Okay.
So I went, and I was Jerry Verdorn's assistant, ADA, and he was Ross. And I went in and did my couple days on a trial for 6 weeks. And then a couple of months later, they called again. A couple of months later, they called again. A couple of months later, and it went on and on and on for 11 years.
But so how did she become that character that they loved?
For many years, for like probably 3 or 4 years, I just did the courtroom stuff. So it was anytime there was a court case, which was often because somebody's always doing something wrong and somebody's always getting convicted of something. So they need a lawyer to defend or prosecute, and I was usually prosecuting, not really ever defending. Yeah. And then those would only last as long as that story lasts. So for a while, and I would have all the dialogue of opening arguments and closing arguments, and it would be on everybody else.
Right.
Like I would have pages of dialogue, and the camera would be on everybody else going like,
But they would hear your voice.
you know what I mean? But it was like all the characters, like, and I was busy acting my butt off. But I loved it. It was great.
And the one I remember reading about was that you prosecuted Reva.
That's right.
Right.
She took a clone across state lines.
A clone?
Clone of herself.
Okay.
Across state lines. And I had to say all that stuff with a straight face and like really go for her. I was very mean. I had to be mean to everybody on the stand.
Now, it's amazing to hear that you had to memorize all those lines. And one of the things that I hear in interviews with other soap stars is that they have to memorize the lines. And soap stars are like the hardest working people in the industry.
Absolutely.
So how do you do it? What are your tricks of the trade?
I think I'm just lucky from the get-go because I think I have a little photographic memory. My mom had it, so it doesn't take long to memorize.
Really?
I'm just lucky. And the soap stuff you just get better and better at because it's 5 days a week, and it's like a skill that if you weren't very good at it, when you got hired, you get better and better and better at it because you just have to, because you just do. A lot of people would shoot the show with the script in their back pocket, and anytime it cut, they would, there were people that would play the judges, that would write their stuff on different things. I often in the courtroom had it written on my legal pad if I had time. We had scripts hidden everywhere. Because it's a lot of material. I mean, that's one of the things why people work so hard. Writers, producers, crew, everybody, because it's volumes of material that they tape every day. Wow. But answer to your question, that I became Doris Wolfe when I got Ashley. When I arrived and I suddenly had a 17-year-old daughter, and her name was Ashley. And then they sort of created my character more. I was always sort of a bitchy lawyer.
And you were a mean mom? Would you say mean mom or
apparently,
a tough love mom?
A tough love mom. I think that she was always doing a good job. I think she had it rough. I think she had it rough having a baby, going to law school. And I think, she was just trying to do right.
Now you're a mom in real life. You have two beautiful boys. Mm-hmm. So when you were playing that role, did you ever carry it over? Or
no, but you were reminding me of one day when I framed Alan Spaulding into marrying me, and or else he was going to go to jail. Mm-hmm. At the wedding, then 20 minutes into the wedding, Ashley shoots him. So we shot this wedding. It took like a week, and I was in the wedding dress forever, and I was in every day, and there was, the blood all over me, and anyway, I'm sort of delirious and forgetting what I actually look like, and the babysitter brought the boys to come see me. So I was like, oh, great, the boys are here, and they were like 4 and 6 or something. And they came to the studio, to the set, and I was like, hi! And I'm in a wedding dress, covered in blood.
Oh, my God.
And they were like,
mommy!
It was so funny. And then for weeks later, my little one would go like, he would just mention Alan Spaulding. He just thought it was so funny that I would be married to somebody else, or like he couldn't quite get it all together.
But you're married to Daddy.
Exactly.
How are you married to Alan?
He would get this look and say, Daddy, do you know about Alan Spaulding? Very funny.
That's cute.
Cute. Now kind of they don't really care what happens. They don't really care about my career.
But
unless
But they were young. They were under 10 while The Guiding Light was on. So how was that for you raising the young children and having the career with Guiding Light?
Soaps are great for that because you work basically 9 to 5. There's no other art. There's no other movies, theater, where you get to have kind of an office job. It's kind of an office job. It's 9 to 5, maybe 9 to 8, maybe 9 to 9, early. So you do get in like 6 or 7, but it's like business hours. Mm-hmm. So you rarely do stuff on the weekends, maybe fan stuff or promo stuff, but like you can really have a life. And I was only recurring, so it was like in addition to a lot of other stuff I was doing. So it was fun and great.
Now, did you have an influence on the writing of your character? Did you ever, go over to the writers and say, hey, look, my character, this, and that. How did that work?
I didn't really do that so much, but other people went on my behalf to try to get the stories to go a certain way, which I didn't really know about until later. Mm-hmm. But, when I wasn't working very much, every time I stopped by the set to say hi to Jerry Verdorn, I'd get a call a couple of weeks later with a script. And I'd go, what happened? He's like, I went to them and said, why aren't you using Orla?
Oh, okay.
So he's amazing. That was years ago. And then, like, we made a joke. Once I had Ashley, the storyline came out that I had Ashley. There was never an explanation for years about the father. There was never any explanation. And I was kind of playing a cold bitch. So they were like, what happened to the dad? She never has a love life. She never does. So we made jokes about, it's a sperm donor. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then, maybe Doris is gay. Or maybe, and we made jokes. And then the day that I got that script, I was walking down the hallway and producer after producer was like, did you see your script? Did you see your script for Monday? I was like, yes, I did. And actually, the executive producer came to me and said, yeah, we were looking at that over the weekend. I was looking at it with my husband, and my husband said, shouldn't you talk to that actress first? And she said, Orla? No. And I was like, right, I'll do anything. Sure.
Sure.
She knew I'd do anything.
Now, Caitlin said that when you found out that you had a daughter, you dropped your coffee?
It was the night before. I was upstairs. I was reading the script because I didn't really ever look at the script till like the day before or the night before, just because it's quick in, quick out. You got more material to do, right? So I pick up my script. I think it's another blah, blah, a couple of lines. It's about a courtroom, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And there's some fight going on, and somebody's yelling at this girl, and I'm defending her, and this is the character Ashley, and I'm just reading it for the first time, and I say something like, don't do that, and they say, well, what's she to you, or what's it to you, and I say, she's my daughter, and I was like, he went everywhere. I was like, what? She's my daughter? I've been on the show 7 years. I don't have a daughter.
And all of a sudden, you had a daughter. And you had to incorporate that into your character.
It was great, though. I met Caitlin. I was like, ugh. And then they told me that actually Ellen, I went to her, the executive producer, and I think I was up for some theater job, and I wanted to tell them, look, I might do this theater job, so I might be busy. And she said, it's great that you came in today, because I just finished pitching this story to CBS where you frame Alan Spaulding into marrying you, and then your daughter shoots him, and then she's telling me the story, and I was like this, like, are you talking to me? Like, is this my story? And she was like, so what do you think? And I was like, sure.
Wow.
And she was like, so you're going to be kind of busy.
Wow.
And then that's when everything kind of changed. Wow. Which was great. I mean, Caitlin got the contract I was doing so I could do my other stuff. Yeah. It all worked out. And Caitlin was awesome. We had so much fun during that particular storyline because that's when Beth and I started doing a lot of that, hate ex-wife stuff in the house. And, I mean, a lot of fun stuff.
Now, so
that was fun.
Just with the storyline, help me out. So did you ever get with Alan Spaulding?
What happened was that she shot him 20 minutes into the wedding, and then he went into a coma. So then I took over the house. So I told Beth Spaulding to get out and get her stuff out and kick it to the curb. Kick it to the curb. So I was going through the house picking up stuff going, I don't know about that. And she was going through the house picking it up and going, but that's mine. It was great.
Wow.
We had a lot of cat fights.
It must have been fun.
Totally
Do you
fun.
miss it? Do you miss?
I do. I miss people like Caitlin and Beth and Tina Sloan and Michael O'Leary, although I see him a lot because he lives near. But, I miss the people because you're part of something for so long. Yeah. They know you about your kids. They know about your life. Mm-hmm. Then you hang your hat there, and the crew and the makeup people and the lighting and, it's really a family.
Well, so rumor has it that they will be coming back. Mm-hmm. So what do you have to say to your fans?
I would love them to come back only because people do invest in these people, and they do invest in these characters, and the fans are there, so they will eat it up. They will, and I'd love to keep playing Doris in some form and some way. And I mean, they're called stories.
Yes,
they're the stories,
stories. Now, you brought up Beth Chamberlain, and you mentioned while we were getting made up that you do the kettlebell, and that's what she does, the kettlebell. So how long have you been doing that? And how did she convince you? I picked that up.
Here's how she convinced me is I did it just twice. And I was like, oh. Now, the truth is I haven't done it in a little bit. I go in and out of doing it because I like to run. I like the psychology of the running and getting your mind when you run. I like that. But the truth is I lost weight right away. And that's what changed my mind. My pant size, right away. I was like, and what really changed my mind about her is that I mean, not only is she talented and she's beautiful and she's funny and all of that, but she's like, I could never diet. I have to have my cookies at 4 o'clock. And she's like eating a cookie. I was like, okay, I can do whatever it is you're doing because I can't diet. I cannot diet.
Really?
No, I have to work. I have to do some kind of.
Now the fans always love to hear beauty tips. Like how do you keep yourself
Running and kettlebell.
running? Now, were you always lean? Were you always thin? Did you ever have a weight issue?
Never had a weight issue, but it's, you have kids and whatever,
Right.
And, my agent just said the other day, it's embarrassing. She was like, when you're thin, you play this kind of character, and you get a little heavy, you kind of play this character and this sort of like dowdy mom. And I was like, okay, can I play the other one? Can I play the tough lawyer person? I want to play that. But, it's true. Because I sort of get cast as different. I mean, on the Guiding Light, obviously, they put enough hair and makeup and enough fancy outfits that they make you look good.
Okay.
You know what I mean? A lot of that is they spend a lot of time making you look good.
Yeah.
Anybody will look good if they spend that much time on you. But
so let's go to the hair and makeup while you were in Guiding Light. So how long did it take for you to get
about
your hair
30 minutes in each chair.
For in each chair.
Hair and makeup.
That must have been nice.
That's nice. Well, you get to know the people, and you get your favorites, and there's Joe and Helen, and
What was your favorite outfit? Your favorite fashion?
Well, we made jokes about the worst ones I had. I had a lot of ones they reused that will never be seen again. And one was like a red and white and black blazer that I wore. Okay. And I wore that thing so many times that when we were buying all this, because you could get all the clothes at the end because the show was going off the air. I was like, burn that. And then there was a suit that I wore the first time I was on for 6 weeks.
Okay.
And we joked because in the middle of the court case, it's been going on for 6 weeks, I realized there was like a hole here. So we called it a bullet hole. And that was my bullet hole suit. And it was actually kind of large because I had just given birth like 6 weeks earlier, so I was a little heavy. When I started on the show, I was kind of heavy.
You were kind of heavy? You look like you were never heavy.
No, when I was a whale with my first child. Yes.
Okay.
I was like, some people can be like cute and pregnant. I was not cute and pregnant. I was like,
now, what was interesting with Ashley is that she was not the typical
absolutely.
Thin actress, so that was refreshing
to
see on The Guiding Light.
And she's such a free, honest actress. She's like I just think she's very...
She was fun to interview, too.
And she's very honest, and she's very real, and she's very smart. I think she's going to, run something or produce something. She's just very smart.
Now, when I was looking over some of the information about your career outside of The Guiding Light, I noticed you were on Law and Order. Did you play a lawyer on Law and Order? What role did you play?
If it was still on the air, I would have you get in touch with them and tell them that I did play a lawyer because they never saw me for the lawyers. The moms.
So you always played the moms. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
And we have to know, you played in one of the episodes of Sex and the City. We were trying to place it.
Very brief. Very brief.
What role did you play?
Just a party. It's a party scene, and I was gossiping about Trey and Charlotte, who were having sex in the coat room at this party.
Okay.
It was very small.
Oh, okay.
Very small. It was actually during the commercial strike. I remember that just because I would do a lot of voiceovers and I do a lot of commercials. And we struck, and I was pregnant with my second son when we struck that union. We struck, and there was not a lot of work. So anything that came up, we took. So that came up after my son that came up.
And you did the Sprint AT&T commercial.
AT&T commercial, the texting. My BF Jill. Yeah.
Oh, I listen to audiobooks, and I noticed that also you do audiobooks. Now, how many have you done? Any notable audiobook?
I've probably done about 25.
Really?
I do all of David Baldacci's books now.
Okay.
I do the female characters in that. He's kind of like a thriller writer, like James Patterson. Like you'd see him in airports. Very fun, very cool books. And I get to do all the voices of any woman in it. So I get to play the 5-year-old. I get to play the 15-year-old Mexican. I get to play the 50-year-old judge. I get to play anybody. So that's really cool. And I did a very cool book this summer called The Shoemaker's Wife by Adriana Trigiani. It's an Italian novel. It's set from Italy to America and then back to Italy. And it's like this epic novel. I had to do the Italian accents. So the accents are really what I love to do. and I do an English series called Maisie Dobbs, which is that has a big following, and it's this private detective in the 1930s. So that's really fun, and she's English, so I get to do all those.
Wow, you are really talented.
I get to play. It's good.
Yeah, that's nice.
I have a good face for radio.
No, my mom says you are beautiful.
That's very
She
kind.
thinks, and a great actress. But you've also done a lot of theater. Now, would you please compare acting in the theater to the soap acting? What's the difference?
It's just a very different, it's just a whole different ballgame, kind of. Although any skills that you do in theater can transfer to soap and film, it doesn't always go the other way. Soap and film don't always transfer to theater, just because you have to have certain things to project and certain things. It's like I think that I probably am a little big in my facial expressions and in my characterizations, and I'm chosen for like the bitchy parts and then the more extreme parts, because I'm not
What's your definition of a bitch?
strong.
Like strong, but that's so positive.
I know.
So how do you
I guess I play a lot of bitches.
So how do you translate that when you act?
I think I play a lot of bitches because I don't think they're bitches when I'm playing them.
Oh, okay.
I think if you're playing a villain, if you look at actors who play villains, they don't think that they're a villain. They think they're doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can't judge a character and play that at the same time. Otherwise, you'll look like you're judging who you are. You know.
Okay, so you have to believe in yourself.
You have to totally believe.
You have to have a
like Doris is just a very strong, hard-working mother.
And she's doing right by her daughter.
She made a little mistake, probably not telling her daughter about the whole gay thing for a long time. But
how did you handle that? Like when you had to.
First of all, it was 100 degrees out when we shot that scene. It was the 7th scene in a row that I had, and I had changed my outfits 5 times. And it was in P-Pack, and it was the second to last day of shooting. I mean, it was just the circumstances, which are often crazy in a soap. It's just like crazy, 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 and go, scene. And, I was like on a park bench, and my suit was too tight, and it was hot, and... you just go with it.
And you just have to suck it up.
And Caitlin is just so great to work off of, like I said, because she's such an honest actress. She brings you where she is, which is a real place. Right. So it was easy to...
So if the Guiding Light came back tomorrow and you had to play, go back into those roles, what do you think the storyline would be?
It's interesting because they did let Doris get a little more human at the end. So it'd be interesting to see if she was so sort of mean because she was kind of keeping this lie, what she'd be like if she didn't have to keep the lie. Maybe she's a fun-loving, cool person.
Having a good time.
Maybe she's having a good time. If she let herself off the hook, maybe she's having a good time.
Okay. Orla, how can your fans, the fans specifically from The Guiding Light who loved you as Doris Wolfe, get in touch with you, do you have a fan page on Facebook?
I actually do have a fan page on Facebook, but I do have a website. I think it's orlagcassidy.com.
Okay.
And I am on Twitter, Olrgah Cassidy on Twitter. So Twitter's usually how people have been communicating and stuff, and that's a fun way to do that. And I forgot to tell you about this film that I did.
Oh, yes.
That's going to come out next year. It's called Sisterhood of Night, and it's an excellent screenplay, and it's going to be really hot with the 15-year-old girls, because it's about these girls that are accused of being witches, and I play the mother of the lead. Wow. So it's a really cool film, and then it'll be out probably next year. I just finished shooting that.
And what time period is it?
It's modern.
Modern?
Yeah. It was actually supposed to take place in Jersey, but they couldn't get whatever, and so they had to move it to Kingston, New York, which is a great thing that they did because they started shooting the day after the storm. So I came up from the basement the day after the storm with no power, and I got a text saying, your call time is 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And they were shooting in Kingston, no problem.
Okay.
Anyway, so it's set in Kingston, New York,
wow.
and it's modern day, and it's really, really very timely and very good. Wow. A lot of cool people involved. Georgie Henley, who was the Princess of Narnia in all the Narnia movies.
Yeah.
She plays my daughter.
Okay.
And Cara Hayward, who was in Moonrise Kingdom last summer with Bill Murray, she plays the other lead. A lot of cool people.
Wow.
And Cal Penn, who was Harold and Kumar. He was Kumar and Harold and Kumar. He's in it. A lot of cool people. It's great.
All right. So that's next year.
Yeah, next year.
Okay. And the name of it again is?
Sisterhood of Nights.
Sisterhood of Nights. Okay. So all you soap fans that are watching this, make sure you go see Sisterhood of Night, which comes beginning of the year, middle of the year. What do you think?
Probably this time next year.
This time next year. Okay. And kind of a personal question. Like, you know, you have your two lovely boys and your husband. How do you keep it all together? How do you keep the, you know, you play on a soap opera, the land of romance. How do you keep the fire going in your own personal life, in your own marriage?
You know, it's not that much different from somebody who's an accountant or somebody who, it really isn't. It's like the idea that the soaps are such a land of romance. I mean, it's a job, you know, and it's like any woman who balances their job and their life. It's difficult. And you make time to go to the movies, and you make time to laugh, and you make time to, you know, even if you come home at 6 o'clock and you're exhausted, you rub your husband's feet because he runs marathons and he loves that. And you do it anyway, even though you're a big soap star and you shouldn't have to rub somebody's smelly feet. You do it because you are, you know, you have a loving partner. So, I mean, the answer is like the answer to anybody in a relationship. How you stay, you just got to keep giving of yourself, I think, you know.
Is there anything else about you that would surprise your fans? Something like you like to do, or favorite pastime, anything interesting?
I don't know, that I'm really like
do you collect anything?
I don't collect anything. That I'm really so low maintenance.
Okay.
I'm shockingly low maintenance. I hate doing my hair. I hate putting on makeup.
Really?
I hate it. And that's probably why I have such a booming voiceover career, because you can have no makeup on and you can have a baseball cap on and you can do all sorts of fun things and nobody sees your face. Okay. So maybe that would surprise them, because, you know, on the soap you end up looking so glamorous and looking so, but I actually have a hard time in life. Like, I can do that on stage in front of 1,000 people. I can do that in front of a camera. But in my regular life, I would rather have a baseball cap and a big parka on and not do any of that.
Well, I have to say that I noticed you were making a gingerbread house. That's skill. That's
okay. Mama did that this year for the first time.
Really?
I Googled, how do you make a gingerbread house? Like, I made the dough.
Okay.
I was very impressed with myself, and my 14-year-old helped me cut it, and we got the structure down, but I'm a little afraid of the roof because half the roof cracked, so we're going to have to improvise when we put the roof on. But you know what, when I do, the really cool thing about being an actress is it's like having a very cool part-time job, because sometimes you're really busy and sometimes you're really not. So when I'm not busy, I like to bake the cookies and make muffins and do the laundry and do, you know, like really, really be here. Because like when I'm not here, I'm really not here. When I'm shooting a movie, I'm away for 5 days. Or I went to LA last year for 9 weeks, or the year before. You know, so when I'm here, I like to do that stuff.
Do the mommy thing within the family.
You know, I mean, I'm lucky,
Yes,
very, very lucky.
The Guiding Light has been off the air for a while, but you have loyal fans. My mother is a big fan of yours, and she misses you. She misses all the characters of Guiding Light. What would you say to those fans out there that embraced you as like part of their family? What would you say to them right now? You can look in the camera, talk to them.
I feel bad, you know, that I feel bad that the stories couldn't continue. You know, and I also feel it was very abrupt, and that one show after another went off, and I wish that it had been planned better by the networks and by the other people, so that it could say, hey, we're not going to be on network anymore, but we're going to be over here on cable, or we're going to be, you know, I just wish they had treated you with more respect and with more value, because you were what kept it on the air. So I just sort of feel like saying that, you know, you should have been treated better. You know, and delivered the format. I don't know. I'm not an executive, so I don't know. I know it was very difficult. And I know that Ellen Wheeler kept the show on 2 years more than it would have been on by the changes that she made, because she got the show being done for like $1 so that, it could stay on. But, I feel like there had to have been some people that could have said, hey, there's 300,000 people watching this. Let's put it over here. Let's find a cable, like a soap channel. Let's, So I wish that had happened, and maybe it will.
Fans want you. They want to know all the little tidbits about you. Like you shared so much wonderful information about yourself, outside of the Garden Light and inside the Garden Light, Springfield. So we appreciate that you shared your beautiful home and your time.
Absolutely.
With Let's Talk About Soaps. So we have come to the end of this show with Olrgah Cassidy, who played Doris Wolfe, the mother of Ashley Wolfe. And how should I characterize her? I don't want to use the B word, but
strong.
The
strong
mom.
woman.
The strong mom. That's right. So we've come to the end of this show, and this is around the Christmas season. This is the end of 2012, and we've had a great year at Let's Talk About Soaps, and we're ending it with your interview. And,
awesome.
And I want to thank you. Thank you for watching.
Talk about it. Let's talk about